Cypress Development Corp. is developing a world-class lithium resource in the heart of Clayton Valley, Nevada. The size of the resource makes the Clayton Valley project a premier asset with the potential to impact the future of lithium supply. Cypress Development Corp. Trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol CYP, the OTCQB, symbol CYDVF, and on Frankfurt, symbol C1Z1. For more information, please visit our website, cypressdevelopmentcorp.com.
You're listening to HowStreet.com radio, available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. Welcome to HowStreet.com radio, the online source for market opinions. Here is Jim Goddard.
My guest is Chris Vermeulen from the TechnicalTraders.com. Welcome back to the show, Chris.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jim.
Chris, the equity market continues to climb higher, but will it continue that trend?
Yeah, well, it's been on quite the tear. A couple of weeks ago, though, we did have a huge down day in the equities market. We saw the Russell 2000 drop about 7 or 8%. We saw the SP 500 drop nearly 6% in one day. There was a lot of technical damage done based on how many stocks quickly fell below the 200-day moving average. It was a pretty sharp reversal. And since then, we've been seeing this market kind of flag sideways and higher, trying to regain that big down day that happened. And it's working its way up, but we're still seeing signs that this market is looking exhausted. But again, every little dip in this market is getting bought up. There are so many new traders, investors moving into the market. They just keep, buying all the shares and stocks that they love. And, it just keeps driving the markets up. So it's going to be really interesting to see how things play out over the next probably 4 or 5 trading sessions, because it's in this little kind of no man's land on the daily chart, whether we are going to roll over here and head sharply lower, or we're going to pop and break and start another run where the SP 500 could actually go and hit all-time highs over the next few weeks. So we are looking for a break to the upside or the downside here, and I think either way is going to have some pretty good legs behind it to make some money.
Now, typically over the summer, we have a doldrum period in the markets because so many traders have gone away on holidays. But because everybody was stuck at home, it's almost like you were on holidays in one sense. Will they be disappearing, or will they still be very active over the summer this year?
Yeah, it's tough to say. I mean, last summer the markets kind of rallied all summer right into August, and we had a huge sell-off last August, which caught a lot of people off guard. Usually August is extremely slow. So it's going to be really interesting what happens here. I think everyone's kind of getting hooked on the new drug, which is day trading, and everyone's kind of piling in and loving these market moves. I mean, it's really been moving higher and higher almost on a weekly basis. So everyone getting involved, as long as you buy something, you are making money. And I think people are really enjoying this because a lot of people are unemployed, they're at home, you don't have anything else to do. So I think it's got the attention of people, and they're very hooked. So I think we could see this volatility continue, big price swings, but it does have an upward bias right now, and I think it could continue to support itself, to push itself up to the recent highs we saw about 2 weeks ago. At which point I think we could walk into some more selling as summer does pick up. People will eventually get a little tired of trading, but right now trading is still really good for those buying and holding, and they're going to keep doing that.
Is this really driven by millennials who used to bet on sports? Now they're betting on the stock market?
There's a lot of talk about it. I mean, it seems like there's just millions and millions of new users coming on with all the different trading platforms, brokerage accounts. There's no doubt a lot of new money is coming in, a lot of, I think, smaller accounts, but they're all buying. And so it's just this never-ending kind of trickle of upward bias. And people have the mindset that, hey, the Fed is going to support. They're going to do whatever it takes to save this economy and this stock market. And I think, you could argue maybe the millennials are looking at it like, well, hey, the Fed's got our back, kind of like mom and dad. And whatever happens, they'll kind of back the market and support it. And I think that's not just the millennials. That's pretty much, I think, a lot of traders are saying, hey, this is a Fed-induced rally. The Fed's here to support things. So this market should be going higher. We might as well just buy it because they're going to step in. And that, I think, is fueling the buying on all of these dips. So that is definitely, a big role, is everyone just piling in tons of small accounts with the sports betting, and really it's just a never-ending stream of buying. So yeah, it is playing a big role for sure.
We'll have more with Chris Vermeulen right after this.
Media recognition from Bloomberg, Reuters, recycling trade publications, patented process for 100% recovery of critical metals, including cobalt, lithium, nickel, manganese, aluminum. American Manganese is focused on recycling lithium-ion batteries for electric vehicles. American Manganese trades on the TSX Venture, AMY, the US, AMYZF, and Frankfurt 2AM. For more information, visit AmericanManganeseInc.com or phone me, Larry Ray, at 778-574-4444.
Avon Resources Limited is a gold exploration company with significant projects in British Columbia and the Yukon, trading on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol ABN, and the OTCQB, symbol ABNAF. Surrounded by world-class gold deposits and mines, Avon's 23,000 hectares Forest Kerr Gold Project is located in the heart of the Golden Triangle in northwestern BC. For more information, visit us at avonresources.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Chris Vermeulen. Chris, how are the precious metals doing?
Oh, the precious metals have got a really, really exciting time for precious metals. I mean, they've been holding up really well. Gold is actually starting to break out to another leg higher, which means if it breaks and holds over the next couple of days, we should see gold run all the way up to about $2,000 an ounce. It's a very strong chart pattern. Lots of accumulation going on. Silver's doing much of the same thing. It hasn't broken into a bull market yet, but it has got a bull flag formation, and it is primed and ready to break. And in fact, if you look at the whole precious metals sector, you look at gold, silver, platinum, palladium, you look at gold miners, they all have rallied and have been trading sideways for the last month and a half or 2 months, building this bull flag formation. All of them are in a very bullish pattern, primed and ready to break to the upside. And that goes along with bonds and Bitcoin. So it's funny because everything outside the equities markets is actually showing signs that they're ready to move. They're expecting something to happen in stocks, and that money is already starting to position themselves in everything else like around the equities market.
Any particular area that's catching this attention besides precious metals?
Yeah, I mean, there's different pockets. I mean, utilities continue to be out of favor, but they're actually showing us signs that they're almost ready to run to the upside. I think they're going to become a hot commodity. If you look at kind of one of the leading sectors like IBB, which is the biotechnology sector, healthcare stocks, I mean, they've been definitely pushing and moving higher. Everyone is, excited about a potential vaccine, whether it can be produced or not. And those sectors are doing really well. So that's kind of where things are shining. Every time there's any news about a vaccine, the market moves huge. That just goes to show how many people are really focusing on the vaccine angle in the markets. And those sectors are definitely trading at new highs and continuing to rally while the stock market's been trading sideways here.
Mm-hmm. Now, I believe there's something like 100 companies that we know about working on a vaccine. Is this still really a crapshoot? You don't know which one's going to come out with a winner if there ever is one.
Yeah, and I'm not even sure. I mean, I don't know much about vaccines, but from what I read is because this is corona or COVID, it's like a seasonal flu where it mutates very, very quickly. So even if you've got you come up with one, they already said it's starting to mutate in China. So it really kind of sucks to think that, there's not just going to be one vaccine done. Could be a never-ending, flu shot that has to go around. So I think it's a total crap shoot to try and figure out which one is going to be the company, maybe with the first one that actually works. I mean, I'm sure it'll send the stock through the roof, but I think it's going to be a never-ending, kind of battle it from the sounds of it because of mutation.
We'll have more with Chris Vermeulen right after this.
Engineer Gold Mines is focused on the exploration and development of the historic high-grade Engineer Gold Mine situated 32 kilometers southwest of Atlan, British Columbia. Engineer Gold Mines is fully permitted for surface and underground exploration with the drill program now underway. Engineer Gold Mines Limited trades on the TSX Venture Exchange, symbol EAU. For more information, please visit us at engineergoldmines.com.
Don't miss out. Stay informed. Receive the HowStreet.com weekly recap with thought-provoking podcasts, radio, and articles delivered to your inbox. Sign up for the HowStreet.com weekly recap on our homepage at HowStreet.com.
Welcome back. We're speaking with Chris Vermeulen. Chris, have palladium and platinum joined the precious metals rush?
Yeah, you look at platinum, it had a pretty big swan dive there back during the February-March crash, but it has recovered very nicely. It is forming a big bull flag. It looks primed and ready to continue to move higher. If you look at palladium, it's been consolidating for a little while. It had a huge run-up earlier this year. You know, I talked about it when it was just skyrocketing, and of course it cratered. It went from $2,800 an ounce all the way down to around $1,300 an ounce. And since then it's bounced back up and it's been consolidating in a diamond formation, a big pattern. But overall, all of the precious metals do have bullish patterns. They are all primed and ready to move higher here. I think they're kind of looking for the catalyst that's going to spark it. I think gold and miners are very close. And once those start to run, I think it's going to draw attention to silver. It's going to draw attention to platinum and palladium, which, not as many people look to trade those two. But when you look back at the charts, all of them are setting up very similar formations and are primed and ready to move.
Should you be ready to move in these areas that are kind of ignored by the mainstream trader?
Yeah, I mean, you look at palladium, it really, to me, was ignored by most people, including myself. It's just not something that really got too much attention. And you look at how it moved over the last year, or year and a half, it went from more or less 1,000 to, 2,800. It really flew under the radar like a stealth rally. If that was gold or silver, people would be going ballistic. But this kind of happens behind the scenes, and I feel like it could happen again with platinum or palladium. It's always the metal or the asset class you least expect to move takes the lead, and I think that's one of the big things that with gold. I think a lot of people were expecting silver to have a huge move this year and last year, but silver's been dormant, still stuck in a basing formation, and gold broke out and led the way. It's outperforming gold miners, which nobody thought was really going to happen. And so that's how the market moves. So watching platinum and palladium could set up a pretty good opportunity simply because it's kind of flying under the radar. And things under the radar tend to really can take off in a big way because there's not as much liquidity. And when you do have mass herds of people buying, bullion or platinum, palladium, it can drive the price up very quickly. So it is interesting to follow those that aren't being watched too much.
Is gold still being ignored by, again, these people who are using the low brokerage or no brokerage fee platforms?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. When you look at all the stocks and positions being held by millions of traders, Robinhood.com has got the list of their top holdings, top 500 or 1,000 holdings between all their people. And when I checked a couple of weeks ago, there's only one gold stock on there. The rest are airlines, the top tech companies. Everyone wants to own Tesla and Amazon and those things. But it was all airlines and still cannabis stocks. I mean, cannabis has been beaten up hard. Same with airlines. And so there isn't any of those people piling into the gold miners yet. And they could definitely fuel a huge rally if they do get wind that, hey, this is a new sector that should outperform the rest of the market. Look at what it's done in the past. I mean, there's been huge explosive moves. So I have a feeling that it could take off with this new breed of people getting in trading precious metals to the upside.
How's oil going to do over the summer?
Well, oil's been on a tear. It is testing a major resistance area that we've been waiting to see how it was going to react when it gets to this area. That's the $41 per barrel. It's right where the price had a huge gap down back in March. On March 6th and 7th, or the 9th actually, it had a massive gap down from more or less $41 a barrel all the way down to $32, almost a $10 drop. And the market has been rallying back up. We just hit that gap, the top of that gap window. And a gap window is when there's a space on the chart that nothing traded through there. And the price usually goes up to fill those price gaps. And that's where we've tagged. And the top of the gap window will act as resistance. That's what we're seeing today. Oil rallied up, hit that level. It's starting to sell off now with some accelerating volume. So it's definitely acting as resistance. We're looking for the market to pull back, crude oil to pull back for a couple weeks, build a new kind of launch pad, take a bit of a breather, and then we'll be looking to potentially get long in crude if it can build a bullish formation here.
Chris, what's going on with Bitcoin?
Well, Bitcoin has been doing a lot of the same type of base building and bullish formations that gold, silver, and bullion have been doing. It rallied up back in March, and it's been trading sideways since early May. It's built a very strong pattern, stuck under this $10,000 mark. And 10,000 is a pretty big whole number. There's a lot of people saying, hey, if it gets to 10,000, I'm selling my Bitcoin. And then there's going to be a huge batch of people saying, hey, when Bitcoin breaks 10,000, I'm buying it because it could easily rally. And that's what the chart is showing, is if we break 10,000, Bitcoin is going to be primed and ready for a fairly significant move. It looks like it's going to go up to around Fibonacci target gives us 14,100 on Bitcoin, but we do have a previous high, right? Actually, the previous high was 14,100. So the chart is pointing to a $4,000 rally in Bitcoin once it can break free and above $10,000. So it is building another pattern, very similar to gold, similar to bonds. People are moving money into assets outside the equities market. I think a lot of people, everyone new moving into the stock market, they're piling into stocks. It's a bubble. It's a mania. But there's a lot of other people who've been around longer that I think are moving into Bitcoin. They're moving into gold, metals, miners, bonds. They're preparing for this bubble. When it bursts, they want to be protected and get away from equities. So that's what's going on. That's the way I see it. It's a mania driving the stock market, and kind of money that's been trading longer that has a bit more experience, I think, is starting to diversify and move into other assets that'll hold up or rally when the stock market starts to sell off.
Chris, thank you so much for chatting with us.
Hey, thanks for having me, Jim. Always a pleasure.
My guest has been Chris Vermeulen from thetechnicaltraders.com. If you have any questions for Chris or any of our other guests, you can send them to info@housestreet.com. Find us on Twitter @HouseStreet. Our YouTube channel is Talk Digital Network. We're also on Facebook. I'm Jim Goddard. Thank you for listening.
Comments made on HouseStreet.com radio are an expression of opinion only and should not be construed in any matter whatsoever as recommendations to buy or sell any financial instrument at any time. Available online at TalkDigitalNetwork.com. HouseStreet.com radio is a production of House Street Media Incorporated.